Hi folks, thank you for tuning in. This estate sale takes place in San Mateo, California. San Mateo is nestled right in the middle of San Francisco Bay Area and about 20 miles from South San Francisco. Today is the first day of a 3-day event. As you can see, it wasn't a long wait, and I'm super excited to see what this estate has to offer. The first thing that caught my eye was this gorgeous glazed porcelain dog holding a basket. It is in immaculate condition and stands about 14 to 16 inches tall, with an asking price of $120, which is a fair price given that today is the first day of this estate sale.
My question would be, does he have an antiques and curio?
This beautiful piano was made by a company called Hobart M. Cable. They are a famous makers of piano in the United States. This particular piano was built in Indiana back in the early 1900s. Now, one of the distinctive characteristics with this piano is the quality of its scale. It is famous for producing smooth, constant, and powerful sounds. The asking price is $375, which is another fair price. If you are in the market for a piano, I would recommend checking out estate sales. Usually the price is quite fair even on the first day of the estate sale, and that has to do with transportation and storage. Estate organizers are highly motivated to move these items as it does take up space. Pro tip: wait until the last day of the estate sale to get an even better deal, assuming it's still available. Next up is this vintage bovine bone and bamboo Mahjong set. This vintage set dates back into the early 1900s. The asking price is $895. What makes this vintage Mahjong set so valuable is because unlike today's Mahjong set, which are manufactured using modern technology, each tiles were made of bovine bone and bamboo and hand carved and painted. The asking price of $895 is a bit high, as I've seen it between $400 and $600 per set depending on the condition and completeness. Nonetheless, the craftsmanship on these vintage Mahjong sets are second to none.
Sorry, thank you.
Oh, well, $600, nothing for me. Okay. Taken care of.
We now head into probably my favorite place of the house, the den. This den houses many collectibles, including the Sad Iron collection, which we'll talk about more in a second. The shelves were perfectly constructed to hold many of their collectibles. This is a vintage cranberry colored oil lamp burner. Some of us may not be familiar with oil lamps, since most of us use electric-based lights. Oil lamps produce light based on oil fuel extracted from nuts, seeds, or animal fats. Prior to electric lights, there were really only two main forms of lighting: oil lamps and candles. This unit dates back to the mid-1900s. The asking price is $30. Not bad for a vintage item. The estate's main attraction is this collection of sad irons that you see in front of you. This collection includes sad irons from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. Why do we call it sad iron, you ask? Well, back in the early 1800s, the word sad actually meant heavy. And the average irons those days that were used to press their clothes were about 15 pounds. So that is why it was called sad iron. Now, in the 1800s and early 1900s, everyday clothing was actually made from 100% cotton or flax linen. And after laundering, both demanded heavy pressing with high irons to remove wrinkles. Sad iron became normal, stable household items as a result. I can only imagine the hard work it takes to get your clothes pressed using a 15-pound sad iron. But at least you'll get a good workout. If you are into sewing, you'll probably appreciate this vintage Singer sewing machine. This machine dates back to the late 1800s. Now, back in the early 1850s, there was a person by the name of Isaac Merritt Singer who invented the first practical sewing machine. Prior to its invention, people would sew in a conventional circular and horizontal motion, making it cumbersome and time-consuming. Mr. Singer's machine used a straight needle that worked vertically, thus making it easy to use and inexpensive to produce. By the late 1800s, Singer sewing machines were so popular that they were selling 180,000 units yearly. Nowadays, these antique machines can be worth up to $500 depending on its condition. We had a wonderful time attending this estate sale. The organizers did a fantastic job putting together the showroom. We got to see plenty of vintage items, and my favorite was a sad iron collection. And it wouldn't be fitting if we didn't purchase one for ourselves. We went ahead and purchased this beautiful Abesto 1900s sad iron. Later, I did some research, and the unit that I bought was actually made in May 22nd, 1900s. That makes it over 120 years old. Wow. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you so much again for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode.